Good day, proxies. Foxhole here, and in today's conversation of topic, I want to hit a topic that we discuss a lot on the live streams, and it was very pertinent to me back a couple of streams ago when this topic first came up again, that I wanted to express this in a video because I don't think many people realize this. They say they do, but I don't think they do. And what I'm talking about is the emotional status that games provide to us. The emotional weight that we have, the feelings that we have towards a certain particular game, whether you're a ZZZ player, an HSR player, a Genshin player, or dare I say, even a Weather and Waves player. These are different games that many different players have a different emotional connection with that may sometimes have a clouded judgment. And I really want to take the time to sit back and discuss this. So without further ado, let's dive right into this video. Alrighty, so we're talking about the emotional status that a player has when it comes to their particular games or particular characters. You could pretty much reference this into a lot of different situations. And what I'm going to get at here is that the reason for this video is that a couple of times in my live streams, depending on the ones that we go on for quite some time, I have an issue where sometimes my chat gets a little rowdy, and you'll have people who will come in once in a while. They'll talk about, hey, Weather and Waves is a 9 out of 10, and then you'll have another person come in, nah, man, it's a 5 out of 10, and then they'll get into a little bit of an argument. Same thing with Zenless Zone Zero. I'll tell you, for example, I don't think Zenless Zone Zero Story 2.0 was actually that bad. I think it actually sets up pretty damn well if you look at it through and mainly like an anime style portrayal of a series, that it sets up the first couple of episodes pretty well to the remaining part of the story. And I'll get someone in my chat that says, nah, man, Zenless Zone Zero 2.0 story is complete trash. It's garbage. Did you know they have 48 black screens? I get that, but you know, when it comes to it, we have different feelings, different emotional weights that comes together. I'll say it like this. Weather and Waves is a game that I was emotionally attached to. I played it since day one of its release, all the way until 2.0. And I played a little bit of 2.1, and I dropped the game. I came back for 2.3, played Zanny, had a little bit of fun, then I dropped the game. Why? Was because I was emotionally attached to the story of Weather and Waves. I was emotionally attached and, you know, resonated really well with the current resonators that was in the game. And even with some different things that I criticized about story pacing issues and things, I thought it still overall brought a big, you know, good presentation that I really did enjoy. The introduction to 2.0, you know, where a lot of different people I know of is like regards it as a 10 out of 10. That is one of the best updates that Weather and Waves has. I agree, it's the best update, but it's just not an update for me. I didn't particularly care for the theatric drama, Broadway style storytelling that was presented in Renacida, and I didn't really care much for the characters like Carlotta, Brant. Rochelle was all right. Phoebe. Like, only character that I really cared about was not going to come out until 2.3 was Zanny. I didn't care about their stories. I tried watching it. I tried looking at it, and while the game was very, very beautiful, I will give you that. Like, Weather and Waves 2.0 was like in presentation of the environment, the cinematics, everything so far that I've experienced. It's gorgeous, but it just does not hit, in my personal opinion, the same way that 1.0, 1.1 1.3, 1.4 had presented to me. So I'll put it like this. I don't regret playing Weathering Waves in any which way, shape, form. It gave me a sense of enjoyment. But I look at it as, yeah, we got a new flying ability. We got all these new bells and whistles pretty much. But these are things that over time, in relatively a short time, is going to become a second thought. The first time I flew in Renacida, oh man, it was great. The 15th time that I flew is like, okay, it just became a standard. It's no longer, you know, something that is completely amazing. It is now like the set standard. This is how traveling, this is how, you know, exploration is going to be. Until something new comes along. And I know some people who to this day will still regard, oh, this is a sense of expression. This is a sense of amazement and everything. And that's great. But it's like talking to them and it's like seeing things. I do think that they're clouded by the emotional status of how they regard Weathering Waves. Same thing goes for Zenless Zone Zero. Same thing goes for Hong Kong Star Rail. And same thing goes for Genshin Impact. But these are people who have spent hours upon hours, thousands of hours, if you would. And if there are even people who spend money, they spent thousands of dollars in these games particularly to support it. That no longer is it a game about, you know, straight up, I'm enjoying myself. It's now a game that is part of your life. It's your child, basically. You now have an emotional attachment that you hold on to this, that you can't seem to let go. Primary example of this is back like last year, we had one person in my chat that got a little upset. Even decided, you know, for a little while they were going to quit Weathering Waves because we pulled for in 1.4 Camellia. We played it and then I summoned 3'd it and I said, I'm good with a summon 3 R3 Camellia. I don't need to go any higher than that. And is watching me destroy different things in the game. And their summon 6 character that they love so much, which is also a DPS, is not at this point in time making the same amount of damage as this character. And asking themselves a question, and they were kind of like really upset, being like, what was the point of me summon 6 in a character if a summon 3 character right here could do all this faster and better than mine? I mean, it is how it is. Older units will fall off. It just takes time. Now, grant you, with 2.0 Weathering Waves, you know, it brought back characters. It brought back the older characters, gave them a little bit of an oomph again, and rebalanced them a bit so that way they could match the levels of newer characters. I completely understand this, especially with even game modes like Whimpering Waste and such, to help ensure that older characters are still relevant. But this was like the first sign of seeing an emotional attachment. You have a person who really loves a certain character, sees something else happen in the game, realizes he's not doing the same amount of damage and everything else, and gets completely upset over it. Instead of, like I said this in my stream, it's like, when things like this happen, who cares? If you really like that character, this is why, like I say, like, tier lists are complete other bullshit to me. Okay? I don't care if a character is top tier or low tier. It's nice to see that information, but if I like Soul Bad Guy in Guilty Gear and he's a B tier on a tier list, guess what? I don't care. I'm playing Soul Bad Guy because I like the damn character. I think the character's really fucking cool, and I'm going to struggle, I guess, a little bit more if you want to look at it compared to everyone else, but I can still play that character and I can still have fun playing that character. Reason why power creeping and everything else exists is because it helps prevent stagnation. And watching people get upset that their favorite character or their favorite game is getting talked about in a negative lighting in some way, shape, form, just showcases, you know, maybe you might be a little too attached to your game. Maybe. I don't think Weather and Waves is a bad game. I do think that ZZZ, in my personal opinion, for who I am, it caters more to my feelings than Weather and Waves did. And then you'll see that there'll be a fight. You'll have people who love ZZZ that will say that WUWA sucks. You'll see people who say that, you know, they love WUWA, and they're going to look at Zenless Zone Zero and say your anniversary sucked, ours was better, and they're going to get into this entire argument and fight, which they're two different games that you're trying to compare, and clearly you have an emotional bias, and you're not looking deeper into things. The reason why I got into ZZZ from Weather and Waves was because I've heard all this drama, all the drama about ZZZ versus Weather and Waves, or Weather and Waves versus ZZZ, however you want to look at it. And I said, instead of just going ahead and blindly leading and following a group of people and agreeing with their assessment, let me go dive into ZZZ. Let me, instead of observing the box, let me jump into the box. And this is a big problem that I see happen around all communities, is that a lot of players will not give something a chance. And even if they give it a chance, it's not even a true chance, that they'll stay biased. Game journalists do this shit all the damn time nowadays. That's why, like, they have to put accessibility mode into a lot of games so that way a journalist can beat a game to get a review out of it, because people, in all honesty, they just want to watch something, give an opinion, and think they're an expert. That's what I feel. Instead of taking the time to say, you know what, before I bash the crap out of this, let me dive in. Things have changed since the last time even if you had never played it, or even if you have played it, things have changed since 1.0 all the way to 2.0 with ZZZ. Let me dive in. Let me give it a shot. Let me see, and give my point of view before I truly criticize something. And that's what I think a lot of people like doing. I think that you have your content creators out there, your St. Thomases, your Tech Tones, and everyone else, that they're so emotionally invested into the current game that they're playing that it doesn't matter if something good happens in another game. It's always going to be bad. It's always going to be worse. And that's where the clouded judgment comes in. I've watched St. Thomas fight bosses and everything. He still cleared content and everything, but made it 10 times harder on himself when you have an entire chat and you even have him saying, read the mechanics, go read about the boss. You can't just jump in and go hit buttons, which, in all honesty, this is the majority of video games, is that when you jump into something new, or you jump into something you haven't touched in a couple of months, it's best to refresh yourself. It's best to go play it. I haven't particularly played Guilty Gear Strive in about 6 months. I know that if I go play Guilty Gear Strive, I'm going to have to go jump into the training mode. I'm going to have to go jump into the lobby, and I'm going to have to go remember a couple of different commands, and I'm going to have to let muscle memory take over. New character comes in, I have to learn a new matchup. I have to go learn against Unica. If I go play Strive tomorrow, I don't know nothing about Unica. I don't know nothing about Slayer. I don't know nothing about Venom and how they operate right now in Strive. But if I go start playing Guilty Gear Strive, I have to go learn that matchup knowledge. I need to understand where I benefit with my sole bad guy, where I'm at an advantage, and where I'm at a disadvantage. I need to learn. So I could jump into Strive, I can go hit buttons, and I can go do cool things, and yeah, I'll probably get my ass handed to me. But if I take an hour, 2 hours, I go read, I go practice, I go ensure that I understand everything that's going around my game, I will perform a lot better than go ahead, play it for a little bit, and just stop it and say, oh, you know what, this sucks, I'm gonna go back to Street Fighter. Knowledge is power. Information is truly something that I think that a lot of people misinterpret how to collect. We will look at something, we will think that we're an expert in it when we're actually not. And I think that this is something that needs to change. I'm not sure about you guys. I don't want to make this video too long, so I'm going to go ahead and cut it here. If you want to talk more about this, we do live streams, and I like talking in my live streams. Like, I don't think I get the full context of my thought patterns out in videos, but I can in the live stream because we can yap all day long, we can rant all day long, and people can present different questions, different feedback that helps expand upon this information. So this is like a, you know, little plug that if you guys do catch this video and you see that we're live stream on this channel, whatever, we stream right here on YouTube. We don't stream on Twitch, we don't stream on Kick or anything. It's right here on YouTube. Come in, say hi, and present me your information, present me your facts, and let's have a healthy, reliable, loving conversation, if you would. I think it's always good to have different viewpoints. But again, let's end the video here. You proxies, take it easy, keep it cool, go dive yourselves into the hollow, go have some fun, and I will catch you in the next video. Peace.